Okay, so we'll put it on there. So the sad part would be, let me actually check something real quick. So do this. That I am broadcasting on YouTube. It probably go as unlisted because let's see what we got here. So the sad part is I would have to make, okay, this how I'll be able to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this. I'm gonna move this out of the way. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. So if I wanted to hide that, okay, so I can, let me see if I can shrink it. Oh, that actually is better. You can like read it. It looks all weird, but it actually looks a little better. Let's see. Do. Okay. I don't even know if it's even streaming on. Because obviously no one else is here. I'm just doing a test. Okay, so I have to switch to public. I think in order for it to, okay, there we go. All right, so now let's see if it pops up. There we go. There it is. It pops up. Doing a test of the emergency broadcast system. Not really. So if I would hit
Not really.
Okay. I'll be able to test the audio and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that everything's up and running properly. I'm using the NFL as a test screen here. So I can just move it from here if I want to point out something. It reads out just fine on my end. And I can move it just fine. I can click on the comment, see if that pops up. There we go. It's like riding a bike, it seems like. It looks like we got one person in here. Just to let you know, just doing a test. If you want to make a comment just to help with the test, I'm just making sure that I haven't forgotten how to do things around here. And also, it's kind of like a warning that I'm going to be coming back to doing the podcast. So we'll see. I see that StreamYard has some new things, and obviously you can see the duck on the top right. I'm not paying for shit this time around. That duck only disappears if dollar signs appear. Just letting y'all know. I don't know what dollar signs would appear anyhow. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this little test real quick. There we go. That should be me. There we go. All right, so that's my self-test right there. Because that's the only person that's logged in is me. So I can put user in timeout here, or I can block the user from there. All right. I can hit star if I ever want to remember that. I can unstar it later. Can I delete it? Nope, it just stays there. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot on here I can actually get rid of the chat. I wouldn't necessarily need to have the chat. I just want to make sure that the picture is right. Uh, can you share it from here? No. Make sure. There we go. Okay, so if I wanted to share it, I'd have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, not the same. That's not helping. Okay, so okay, Bills pops up. Yeah, so yeah, definitely I'm doing a test. I just want to make sure that all the yep. Okay, good. Thanks, Hollywood Sports. So just making sure that everybody, if anybody were to tune in, just make sure I'm not out of practice. I'm not doing like a standard test. Definitely appreciate you guys stopping by. I know a lot of people haven't seen me stream in a while, haven't seen my face in a while streaming, but I have put it out there a couple of times on Twitter that the show will be returning. Um, how will it return? This is the test. I figure I have some time on my hands, and oh nope, I didn't want to do that. I want to keep it there. Okay. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Damn. Okay. There we go. All right, we're back. Have my phone sitting here as also a secondary window so I can see what's going on. Like other than that, how's everybody doing? I'm like Bills. I know you just spoke a minute ago. We'll talk about that later. Um, about what you sent me. Oh boy. I just want to see how. Let's scroll down. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that if I was sharing a site that it looks readable. Got all the stuff going on with the OTAs and stuff. Plenty of stuff has happened since I last streamed. I think the last time I streamed was, podcast type stream. I did a No Man's Sky stream the other night, but doing like a regular podcasting stream. Uh, it has been since December. I've literally have gone on a hiatus for 6 months, streaming wise. So I know at first I don't expect a lot of people to show up. This is also a test to see how the timing would be. Now, I already see there are 4 people, so it would be myself that's logged in, see Bills. I don't know if Hollywood's staying around, if he's still there, but I do see that there are 4 people viewing. So whoever the 4th person is, care to say hi, you're welcome to do so. And I don't know, I may do another test. I just want to catch to see when the most people will be able to show up. Because the main reason I'm coming back is because I have time. I have time, and I've regained a bit of the energy that, okay, Hollywood's still there. And he says he's still there. I regained a bit of the energy that I desperately was losing towards the end of last year. So I definitely want to make it clear that one of the type of topics that I was going to talk about on this stream, probably not going to make it a forefront thing that to talk about, and that's the political aspect. I'm like, I myself has taken a step back from a lot of political debates and talking, and just sitting back and just watching everything. It's just been funny to watch. I think the beauty is more in the viewing of the foolishness rather than being involved in the foolishness. And there's been plenty of foolishness. I've been sitting, I've been thinking, I've been watching and just observing just every person, everything. And also just, I think the main reason I fell back is I wanted to like focus on real life stuff. So I know I've spent a lot of time throughout the years just, oh yeah, let me try out this feature real quick. I know I've stopped like mid sentence, like I was Biden. There's a setting on here now. I can play background music, but when I tested it out before I went live, it was a bit choppy. So let me see, and you guys, let me know what you guys think. If you hear echo, I just wanted to see because I'm playing it low, but it should be fine in your guys' end. Because I can barely hear it because I have the mic right next to it. Kind of energy. I'm probably gonna. Oh, what the heck? Oh, never mind. I thought I had something else in here. Drinking water. Ooh, the thing that I get on the PC, that would have been bad. Put that over there. I actually cleaned up my desk a little bit. I actually removed the Series S. It's pretty loud. Oh, okay. Let me turn it down then. Probably can't even hear my voice. Alright, so that's good to know. Turn it down just a bit. Okay. Got it to what's the volume? 23. Alright, so it was at 50. Now I got it at 23. How does it sound now? I basically cut it in half. Try 35. Okay, so looks like you can barely hear it. All right, so let me go back. 35. All right. Now it's at 35. Good call. Yeah, that was definitely a good call. I'm glad they had the meter, but I figure most volume instruments, most volume controls have like a number, but yeah, 35 is great. I'm like, I have turned it down all the way on my speakers so that way I don't get that echo. because now my speakers are right next to the mic. So that's another thing I wanted to try. Let me see something. Okay, I'm gonna go to this home screen so you guys should see this home screen. So that was a little bit. Now obviously with StreamYard they have all their overlays and whatnot, so part of my title screen is cut off. I really don't care about that part, as long as I think you guys get the gist of what I showcased beforehand. Now if I wanted to do this without StreamYard, I can, but I don't want to. I think one of the things I did wrong with season 4 was that I went away from StreamYard. I had my reasons, but I think having the chat pop up, I think, was one thing. If you guys couldn't have been seen, yeah, pretty much. I figured that would be at the forefront, because a lot of times, remember how my main screen used to be? It would just be the logo in the middle. I figured, and it's funny because I tried to make, that app that came out that made everybody's face cartoonish but artistic in a way. I tried to get this picture done, but I think you need your face to be at the forefront, which I didn't understand. My face is right there, but that was made into an art. Like, maybe I can get David Creates to make this a cartoon, or make this more of an artistic photo. I would like to get that done. Just crop it to take out the person in the background and just have me like that. Or I was thinking that I can do my own NFL logo with my image. F using somebody else's image or using the traditional NFL image. I'd be like the NFL with my image on it. It's best suited anyway. Alright, so that works. Let's see. And the good news is that I can go back to inviting people to pop up. And then what I would do, I would have to create a third screen to where where the split screen would be even. Because right now, if I were to go back, let me go back to my main show screen. If I were to go back to that, hold on, let me bring that back. If I were to go back to that, then, let me bring that down. There we go. If I were to go back to that, and then let's say I go to split screen, you have the crop layout, you have the group layout, you have the spotlight layout, and then the new layout, and then they have like the same basic layouts from before. Like I said, there's just stuff. I just want to make sure mostly everything is the same on here. I know the resolution is going to be down because obviously I'm doing the free version of StreamYard, but it is what it is. So 35 is perfect. I'm not moving that around. And if anybody else complains about, oh, I can't hear the music, I'm like, well, the point of it is supposed to be in the background. And again, thank you, Bills, for testing that out for me. And all right, so let me see. All right, so now the next test is these banners. So I still have my pre-existing banners from when I did the last episode I did on StreamYard, which was episode 30. So there's my blog site. All right, and just flash bills, much appreciated. So let me go back to my banners. Oh, actually, let me go back. See, that's the one thing I need to I had to get back in practice is knowing to show and hide like at that moment. Oh, you can. Oh, so apparently I can hide the each one if I want to. If I just had it, I just have to double press it. So if I double click comments, once it like when it's showing, if I double click it, it hides it on my end. So I don't have to be. I don't feel like I would be distracted by the comments, but I would use StreamYard because I want to show the comments. All right, so I'm gonna go to banners. So I'm gonna go back. Okay, so hide that. If anybody broke wants to donate to an, I'm not even gonna say that. But okay, so my PayPal and Zelle links still appear. I don't do Cash App, so that's that. Let's see, Madden 23 becoming an addiction. I think for me, it will never be an addiction. I don't think any of the Maddens anymore would be an addiction. Just for the simple fact that they've screwed a lot of people over the years. But at the same time, for me in particular, screwing the franchise mode over, not putting in what makes franchises important, and favoring these other modes. And again, the same people that are still saying, well, it's not Mutt's fault, it's not whatever. No, it's because the company dedicates their time to these other modes, and when they dedicate their time to these other modes, they take away time from the main mode that got them there in the first place. Mutt wouldn't exist without franchise mode. Mutt, Superstar KO wouldn't exist without franchise mode, because if nobody was playing any game modes, if they just played now and played online, there'd be no reason to have these other modes. But I'm like, so far in this test, I'll probably retitle this. This test will now turn into just an impression of, because obviously I've been playing the beta. Bill's in the chat has been playing the beta. Several other people have been playing the beta, and obviously we can't stream any content, but we can talk about it. There's no NDA that says you can't talk about what you've experienced so far. So here goes. Significant changes as far as the physics-based interactions. I think so far what I'm seeing is pretty good. I think finally allowing physics to dictate the results of different plays. Been wanting that for a long time, since they introduced physics. I think Madden 13 was the last time we really got something that was a result of physics. But then again, I've been playing NHL all this time, and under the EA Sports umbrella, playing NHL has spoiled me to think that way, because it's possible. It was happening in NHL all this time. I did a video on it back in 2011, 2012. So this was always possible. What we're experiencing in Madden 23 with the beta right now has been possible for quite some time. So it's good that, at least in that aspect, that Madden 23 beta, again, that's a work in progress, has caught up to the times, modern times, like 2022, not 2002 or 2012. Definitely like what I'm seeing as far as the player movement by itself, without any physics or not without any interactions. I think at this point I'm looking at tiny details, the subtle details that come into view. I look at how DBs, when they backpedal, do their arms flail out to gauge that they're either trying to feel for a defender or they're trying to balance themselves. I'm seeing those contextual animations. Now, I did play a lot of Madden 22 last year. Excuse me. And I've played Madden plenty of times. And I believe certain defenders playing man, maybe in past Maddens, may have sat on routes, but not like how it looks in the beta so far. It looks like they're not like standing there waiting. They're actually looking, they're reading, but they know that their assignment is right in front of them. It hasn't done anything. It's not really threatening them in their coverage. So I've had a couple of pick sixes in my favor because William Jackson III, who many Commanders fans fried last year, because he definitely got fried last year. He was the one that picked him off in both occurrences. I don't think Fuller did any of that. So that kind of leads into the one last thing on that. I don't think I've really seen it like that before, the way they do it. And if you have a beta code, you're playing this beta, just take note. For me, playing this beta, it's not a finality, because a lot of these things can change, and we know better to think that a lot of these things will stay the same. So back to just the player movement. They feel more grounded. I think I should have started off with that. Players feel way more grounded than they did in any Madden I've seen and played. And I've played them all. Just to let you guys know, I've played every single Madden from the one that started out on PC to now. So, of course, that just shows my age. But anyway, the players are very much grounded. It's ridiculous how grounded they feel. And you can see how grounded they are because of the effort they put into, like, you visually can see the effort in these players trying to get up, trying to accelerate, trying to run, basically, which leads to the running animations, the thing that's been a sore spot for a lot of years. Some may not like how they kind of bounce or whatever, because they do, but that's just when you are trying to accelerate. Some people can run smooth, some people can have to do this, and you see the effort being put out there visually through how they're pumping their arms, but the grounded nature of this makes it feel like they're putting in effort, which I know people last year complained because the players felt like they were running or stuck in mud. When a player is grounded, that's what happens. I bet you a lot of people, if you were to go outside and try to run at full speed from a slower speed, you would be stuck in mud too. Not me though. I'm a little light on my feet, but that's a different story. Some people that had like the bigger backs, the bigger receivers, the bigger players overall are going to feel more grounded to where they're not going to accelerate as much. Hell, I got Logan Thomas, who I feel like because of his size, he's not going to be able to go. He's not going to be able to accelerate very well. And he's going to resort to trucking a few people because he can't escape a tackle, because he's versus a Terry McLaurin. As soon as he catches it, boom, he's gone. Jahan Dotson catches it, he's gone. Curtis Samuels catches it, he's gone. I'm like playing on and playing with the Commanders. I'm seeing it. Shoot, even Antonio Gibson. Oh, that leads to let's go to the next thing. I know I'm seeming like I'm skipping around here. Not really skipping around, but I have to talk about the running game. If you don't have the patience nor the skill to run the ball, you're going to be frustrated because you need these things to be able to run the football. And it's been this way for the last couple of Madden plays. This year, if they keep how the runners feel when you hand the ball off the same way, especially with the 360 degree cuts that you can use, half the time I'm not even using it. I'm using the left analog stick to steer my runner wherever he needs to be. But at the last second, if you need the bug out in the opposite direction, just hit that left stick, that L2 LT button, and if your player can cut on a dime, if his agility is high or change of direction is high, out of there. The running backs feel so smooth. And one thing that I haven't seen anybody talk about except for myself and Bills, we've talked about this in private, the ability to chain these moves with the 360 degree control feature. It's nuts. I say this because I was able to pull off the little shifty head fake with that 360 degree feature. Even just steering with the left analog stick, I'm able to just shift the running back into certain ways to be able to fit them in creases, also cause cutbacks. I've seen the AI operate this way as well. It's devastating when you understand how to do all this and stuff that you can pull off. Bill's already said this, again in private, that there's going to be plenty of highlight films. Content creators are going to have plenty to work with as far as being able to showcase this feature. This feature unlocks a lot of things that wasn't possible last year. Hasn't been possible in Madden quite some time. Even though people have gone out and broken the game and done all sorts of jukes and stuff like that. And that's another thing. I have not really used the juke button at all. I think, if anything, the only button I've used is the spin and stiff arm. So at least if you have the 360 degree feature in there, and that's working well, and you can stick, what's the point of having the juke button now? To me, when I play, it's almost non-existent. I don't even use it. So right now, so far, so good. And I know Bills, he pretty much saying that Justin Fields is running for his life. Yeah. When I played against him, he was running for his life too. And that leads to another thing, the pass rush. The pass rush. And the hashtag is already out there. Do not nerf the pass rush at all. Don't nerf it. If you have a bad offensive line, and trust me, if you're going up against a elite pass rusher in this game, slide the protection to wherever he is, double wherever that person is. Keep the running back or tight end, and sure, I would check your running back's block, your running back and your tight end blocking ability, because that shit will not fly if they can't block, or at least be able to help on a double team. Because I've seen defenders beat their men almost instantly, which is the way it should be if you have a weak blocker versus an elite pass rusher. I've seen Myles Garrett just destroy Leno on the left-hand side since I used the Commanders. I've seen on the opposite end Chase Young destroy a tight end, or actually it was a running back. I was playing against the Falcons, and Patterson, he was lined up in the slot in the empty backfield formation, and he tried to block Chase Young. Hence, he tried. Chase Young just went through him like he wasn't there. And then the chase was on. No pun intended. And I know in the game, I have pound for pound the best defensive line in the game, or one of the best. I'm not going to say the best because obviously you have Super Bowl champions who has a defensive tackle that just happened to have his contract restructured, and now he is the highest. Oh, was he the highest paid player in the league now? All right, so let me put what Bill's put up. He put up running the ball in real life is simplistic. Players don't use jukes often. It's more so the cuts they added, the 360-degree cuts. And that is true. Hell, I've ran the ball once in practice. Never ran the ball in the game. But in actual running backs, they'll say this. And it's true. You see it all the time. It's more like It's more like being shifty, deliver a head fake here and there. Not really a juke cut. Matter of fact, the one time I ran the ball in a practice session, it was a counter tray play. So did my counter move, got the ball, was running like I was running a sweep, saw a lane, I cut right up the field, and then after that it was a cut. I think I made 2 moves after that initial cut up the field and was gone. So, and then if you pair how the running feels with how the physics interactions are as far as tackling, you get a lot. Like, I've seen more attempts at arm tackles. I've seen people run through arm tackles. I've seen tackles not really instantly be engaged like they were in the past. Like, people would just morph into an animation mesh point to accomplish a tackle, where now you're seeing people just run through tackles. If they're not ready to engage with that player physically and they're just sticking an arm out, you probably run through an arm tackle. Passing. Let me just go right into passing. I'm gonna be honest. This is why for beta, and anytime you put something out for people to try out, you shouldn't just throw them right. I'm like, this is not necessarily a new feature, but you're trying to get people to learn how to pass the ball with a so-called new feature. You should have had practice mode already in there from the jump. Play now, play with friends, practice mode. Should have been in there. So people can take the time to be able to practice and throw the ball, place the ball wherever, see how that reticle and the ellipse work together to form how you're able to pass the ball. Now, I understand that kind of left it open for your content creators, your EA creators, to be able to possibly make a little money through views, to have a tutorial on that. Shout out to Eric Rayweather and others who have already done so. But now you need to give us the practice mode for the beta users, so that way we can sit there and practice. Because I'm like, a lot of people get thrown to the fire. Rookie quarterbacks start their first NFL game and so on. But this is a beta situation where we're practicing. I know these games don't count, but a lot of us are naturally competitive. But we also want to practice what we need to learn. If I were to use the settings, like currently I use the settings, what is it? I currently use the settings of infinite as far as the target reticle when using freeform passing, because that's the most practice I need is in freeform passing. I feel like Madden 23 in the beta so far, passing feels the same as it has in previous Maddens. It's just, it gets a little different when it comes to freeform. That's the main difference, which is basically an improved version of target passing. I remember when Rex implemented target passing. The only fault in target passing was that it had no specific receiver you went to, and 2, you couldn't scramble out of it. And he knew that. So there's no like rashing of Rex. He knew that was a mistake. But I'm sure he's happy to see it back a little bit, just in a better form. So yeah, I feel like practice mode should have been in this beta, could still be patched in to be able to practice that passing mode. For me, it's been mixed, but definitely when you enable freeform while you're passing, it makes it way better. And definitely, if you use the infinite target reticle movement, like the distance, and basically that just means when you have that ellipse up here, your reticle can move as far as it wants to go, as far as you move it outside that reticle. But it doesn't mean that the guy's guaranteed to attempt to catch or if it will fall safely anywhere, because if you throw it too far in front and it goes right into a defender, they're picking it off. And trust me, they are picking off passes left and right in this game if you throw an inaccurate pass. So, all right, so let's see. Bills put up, off topic. I know I said I wouldn't touch sliders, but I fixed that CPU QB issue. Couldn't stand it anymore. Yeah. Quarterbacks are still, by the way, they are still throwing across it. But there's an added penalty, which thought was in there last year, but who knows? There is an added penalty when they do that. And I've been able to force a lot of bad throws from quarterbacks because I've had the pressure on them. So that's so far what I've experienced. I do like the way they have the defense set up when you're playing zone defense. I like that they made it simple. And I only say this because a lot of teams in their zone defense just to me, simple zone automatically means if a person is still in your area for the entire time, you're locking up that person just because he's in your area. But the way they had it last year, and they made it into a coaching adjustment, which I like being able to switch in between or not, because okay, you now have the predictability of knowing your defenders are going to be where they are according to the play art. But applying the matching principles, which even if you have it by default, if you pick a match play, it'll apply those principles. So it's not like they took match out of it altogether. They basically applied it to just those plays and a coaching adjustment. So any zone would have those matching principles if you to switch in a coach adjustment. So I definitely like that. Like I said, default gives you the predictability of your defender's going to be here because the player told them they were going to be there. I do like that. It makes the defense more, especially if you think about when you're looking at your roster and you have low-rated defenders, DBs, and they're not really going to know much. They're not going to really make good decisions. It's to keep those decisions to a minimum by playing like a simple zone. They'll just have to understand, stay here. That's all they know. The less decisions a low-rated player has to make, the better. But if you have your defensive backfield and it's stacked, yeah, matching concepts would be a full go at that point. And if you think about franchise, that's how you can also develop your roster as you go along the season, which leads me to another thing, because this for me has always been a final frontier is franchise. Just making sure that, okay, you have the proper systems in place, like the injury management system. I see they've put back the presentation for the injuries. Some look a lot better than they did when they started to take them out, but a proper wear and tear system to where I do not ever want to see teams when they start the preseason, they go through their seasons, where they go through the preseason, they go through the first part, second part, third part, and fourth parts of the regular season. I don't ever want to see them back at 100% team fatigue, ever. I don't think any team is at 100% after they start their first. Like, they may, the closest they are to 100% obviously is going to be during the preseason, because not all the starters are going to play. And then eventually you cut some guys so the averages average out. But I think it's just absolutely insane that when I sim through the season, when I played through the season, that most of the teams stayed near 100. I know there were complaints that the AI wasn't doing a good job of adjusting according to the team fatigue, but there were some instances where I had it on automatic, so that's the AI. I'm leaving the adjustments to the AI, and that actually did a great job. But I felt like I was never really threatened by the team fatigue. Just saying. I think you have a better example of that in NBA 2K with its wear and tear system, and that's the wear and tear system I want to see in Madden. Injury system, I want to see same thing that's in 2K. I want to see that in Madden. I do want to see. I do see surprise injuries that pop up. That's good. Practice injuries, good. That's all good. Main thing that I know Bills has talked about, and I definitely want to see, is better AI management of the roster, preseason game, making sure that you understand the importance of your player over top of them being the starter or whatnot. Like, if you have players that are on the fringe, having the AI understand, like, hey, maybe they need more playing time, they'll play more in the preseason versus somebody who doesn't. I'm like, Aaron Rodgers probably sit the whole preseason, especially if there are only 3 games now. He can sit the whole preseason and go right into the start of the season fresh. I'm like, hell, I've done that manually, but I think the AI needs that advancement. Being able to sub in running backs during the games. If you run a 2-back system, which most teams do now these days, running back by committee, you want the AI to operate as such. I know the formations, you'll have particular running backs in there, and then you have your third down running back. But you want the AI to be able to manage, okay, this is the beginning of the season. I can use that person as much as I can, but I also want to save them for later games. So I don't want to run them to the ground, get like 30-something attempts, which you really shouldn't see, but it is possible the way the AI works. So, but overall, I think my experience with the beta has been good. I'm going to continue to play. I'm also going to play other games as well. I've been going back and forth. I don't want to just strictly play a beta and then just be left wondering. And my purchasing decision, just like every single year, has been based on franchise. And last year, they screwed me on that purchase. Which, let me give a shout out to SGL. You called it. They didn't want to address it until they kind of indirectly addressed it, but you called it. You definitely called it. Also, on these leaks, you definitely called that too. Not all of them, but you definitely called it. That was a good call. So, shout out to SGO. And I think this will conclude the test for now. I don't know. I don't feel like I've lost my touch, and it's funny because I wasn't planning on being on for not much longer than, I think, maybe 10-15 minutes. And I was just like, fuck it, let's just go with go with these impressions, because right now that's what everyone's talking about. Might as well jump into it. So I'll probably rename this stream test slash Madden 23 beta impressions live stream. Be on the lookout. I'll probably do another test stream. I think that test stream will also mark that what the fuck just happened relaunch is just around the corner. I know I've been giving little feints here and there, little feint jab, little feint hook. Haven't really thrown a punch yet, but punch is coming. I don't know if it's gonna be a haymaker, uppercut, a rabbit punch. I don't know. It's gonna be something. But you kind of already have a clue on what I'm mainly going to talk about in that one. It's going to be a reintroduction. Like I said, it's a launch. I don't know why I keep looking over there. There's nobody over there. Maybe I'm going crazy. I don't know. But so I'm going to do that. I'm going to jump off of here, and I'm probably just going to review the footage just to see how it is. I like the setup the way it is now. I'm actually going to switch back to the main screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So you don't have to hear you don't have to see my face anymore. And I think that's that. So thank you guys for coming out. Bills, thank you for testing the volume for me. Hollywood, thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I think one last thing, I need to know a good time. I'm thinking that if I do one of these streams for the show, it'll be on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday or a Friday. I was thinking Saturday, but probably just gonna leave it. It may be just a Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday may be a perfect slot. I think the only thing I'm competing with, if I do it in the evening, I'm probably competing with NXT on Tuesdays. And I think by then, at least the finals will be in the latter stages for both the NHL and the NBA. So, but yeah, I'm gonna jump off because also I had to go to the bathroom. So been holding it at least for the last 5 minutes. So been a trooper. But again, thanks for helping me test this out. I will see you guys later. Peace.